It's really good to see you all, even though that's a lie. I can't see any of you. But you can see me, and I'm saying hi. And I'm really glad that you're back. As you know, this is our Giving Tuesday now, and we are giving back to all of you for all your great support. And if you would like to show us a little love back, there are several ways that you can do that. You can go to Give Big Pittsburgh. We are listed under Give Big Pittsburgh. That's very hard to say very fast. And you can just search for us under Mariposa Theater for young audiences. You can go to our website, mariposatheater.org. You can donate on our Facebook page, or you can donate through Venmo, Mariposa TYA. But today is really all about us doing things to give back to you, because we miss you very much. And with that, I'm going to bring in a guest who has sung in several of our cabarets, and I miss her terribly. She wasn't able to do the last couple because of different conflicts. But Miss Laura Karner, hello, sweetie.
Hello.
How are you? I love that picture behind you.
Oh, thank you. Wait, this way.
Oh,
There we go.
Wow, a diptych. Nice.
Yeah. I've had this picture has traveled probably to like 5 different like houses I've lived in. It just comes everywhere. And I design everything around it.
It's brilliant. I love it. Absolutely love it. How have you been?
Actually, yeah, pretty good. All things considered, It's a weird time for everyone, but I'm lucky that I get to be home with my husband, and I actually see him more now than ever before, which is actually a great thing. So
same. Yeah. We've had some really great conversations that I was like, oh, right. That's why I married you.
Right. You're my favorite person. I love spending more time with you.
Oh, look, you got a little message there.
Oh, Kristen.
Yeah, we'll be seeing Kristen a little bit later today.
Yeah, I will definitely be watching her.
She and Julie are cooking up some great stuff.
They've been doing so much. I haven't been able to watch any of Kristen's sing-alongs live, but then I go back and I'm like, oh, that happened this morning. Where's the sing-along?
I have to say that has been one of my favorite things that we've been able to bring. That, and I'm such a weirdo. I love reading these children's books.
Yeah.
So being able to do that on Tuesdays, and Julie does them on Thursday. Mm-hmm. They're so much fun. How are you able to keep being creative?
So it's kind of interesting because obviously we're so used to live theater and live things that I've been actually not doing anything theater related other than just watching other people's content, because there's so much great content happening right now, right? You guys are doing the stories and the songs, there are a lot of readings happening and stuff. So I've been being a very happy audience member. And then at home, I don't know. I've been doing other things. I do a lot of trying to plan interior design, and I've had our house for only a year. So it's just when I can finally, go to a hardware store, let's plan what this is going to be. And so it's a little more visual art stuff that I'm doing to try and keep busy, because not a lot going on. And two, just to do things.
Oh yeah, there is.
Yep. Yep.
Not
well,
yet,
the other thing, right? My day job is bartending. And so I actually I'm lucky enough to work at a wonderful bar where I get to create a lot of the cocktails for the menu and stuff. I don't have the supplies at home. And so I'm just what do I even do? I don't know. But we did make homemade wine the other day.
You did?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm out of wine. I'm out of bourbon. Mm-hmm. It's that bottle of Belvedere we found in the back of our liquor cabinet. And the more I think about it, the more I think that either Kristen and Julie gave it to me as a Christmas gift, or Jared did as a Christmas gift. And I hid it so that no one else would drink it.
It's the emergency stash now. It's the quarantine emergency stash.
Yeah, except it's almost gone.
Well, a week and a half ago, I actually got through on the Wine and Spirits site. I went running through the house screaming because I was like, it's winning the lottery.
It really is.
I was like, oh my God. So it sucked.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, that's what our lives have come to.
Right.
That's our creative outlet, is being able to. Well, and I got excited last night because I was doing a giant eagle order, and they haven't had delivery available.
No, it's been so hard.
It's all pickup, and it's 5 days out.
Yeah.
I must have just signed in at the right time because they had delivery options.
It's so funny, the things that you never think you'd get excited about.
Like, I have to go anyway. Someone's going to bring that grocery stuff right to my house.
Amazing.
So I know that you used to do some teaching and coaching for Paragon Studios in Wexford. No,
North Hills.
North Hills.
Yeah.
But you took a hiatus.
I did. Yeah. My last session was in the summer. So I did their summer program. And I had worked at Paragon for, oh my God, like 9 years.
Yeah.
So it was the studio I attended when I was in high school. And then after I graduated college, I came back and taught there. So I ended up just doing private voice lessons the past couple years. And then before then I did little kids, like musical theater and acting. But I took a hiatus. So this fall session was the first time I hadn't taught there, which miss my kids, but I wanted to take some time because I've dabbled in producing and directing. So I was trying to take a little more time and do some things on my own. And then coronavirus hit and my plans all washed away.
They're not washed away.
They're just there's a hiatus from the hiatus time that I took to do this. It's just pushing everything out a little longer.
There were definite plans that I feel that. I definitely feel that there were. It's been interesting to have to navigate this brand new world.
Mm-hmm.
You were talking about watching all of the different content that's out there, and different people doing readings. Excuse me. What's the last reading that you just saw?
I was watching Public's Romeo and Juliet on Thursday and Friday. The Pittsburgh Public Theater did a reading, Act 1 on Thursday and Act 2 on Friday. So I didn't sit for the entire thing so that's the weird thing. I have more time than ever before. And yet I find when there are like scheduled things or I don't have the attention span right now to like dedicate, like, it's very odd. I don't know if it's like an anxiety thing or a coping thing, but so I kind of like tune into things and then like go do something for a little and come back. But they did a reading of Romeo and Juliet, which was awesome. Their Romeo was like one of the most endearing Romeos I've ever seen.
Oh.
And I had a dear friend who was doing the reading, so I was very excited to see him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I don't know how I missed that. Actually, Romeo and Juliet, I really like that one.
Yeah. So they've been doing it. So they do it through Zoom. Like you can become a Zoom audience member if you sign up, but then they also have been just coinciding, like putting some Facebook Live videos up and stuff. So I just log in on Facebook and kind of watch what I can.
Right. Yeah. Zoom's been fascinating actually to watch the different advancements happen so quickly with all of these streaming services.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at how quickly stuff can happen. They, however, still haven't figured out how we can all do a musical yet.
No, not yet. I wish.
Well, they're working on it. I think until internet streaming ends up being all the same speed for everybody.
Exactly.
And that's the hardest part.
Yeah, the lag and the delay are a little hard to cope with.
But it gives you really, really some funny things to watch.
True. Super true. Super true. I had never even heard of Zoom until all this happened. And then we downloaded it because I've been so I weirdly talk to my family more now during quarantine. So I have some siblings over in Philadelphia or whatever. We've been doing family game nights like every Friday night. where we either play like categories is our family's favorite games. We just play categories like my parents in one corner, me and my husband in another, like my sister and her boyfriend, my brother, my other sister. And then we also we kick the parents off and we play Mario Kart. So we're like racing each other.
See, I knew about Zoom because of the day job that I had. That was how we spoke to clients.
Right.
But because all of us were remote workers all over the United States, we would do game nights and all get together. And we did the Jackbox.
I love those games. Like Murder Trivia Party. I could play that all day long.
Why am I not surprised by that? I definitely can see you a Murder Trivia Party person right there.
Give me trivia, give me silly darkness, we're done.
I was not good at the Murder Trivia Party. I died fast. I did fast. So, but it was a lot of fun, and yeah, I can see that and virtual happy hours have been a thing.
Yes, I haven't done one of those yet. Because well, I mean, we drink when we play games, so it's like
yeah. You're getting a twofer right there.
Exactly.
That's what's happening. So, I know that there is no way that you are here without something silly.
I'm a very silly person, obviously.
And this is why I love you, because you make me laugh, and you're so freaking talented. And now that you're not working at night, maybe we could get you to do a cabaret with us, because we did our first one on Saturday.
Yes, I do know that. Yes, obviously, I would love to. I love the cabaret so much.
Yeah, the cabarets are a ton of fun, so that would be really great to have you back. So, what kind of silly things have you got for me over there?
So, as everyone can see, I'm wearing my panda onesie.
Oh my god!
This was a big Christmas purchase I bought everyone in my family animal onesies. So now we wear them every Christmas because. Yeah. But my hood on my panda onesie is a little bit weird. He's like, I don't know. He's just whatever. So I have instead a different panda hat to go with my panda onesie. But then I was like, well, there's pink on it. It doesn't match the onesie. So then I have my real panda hat. Complete with gloves.
Yes.
So these are all gifts now to me because I got everyone the onesies. So everyone's like, oh, we're going to buy you things. And everyone knows I love wearing hats. Like I just always own weird hats. Like the friend that introduced us, Cody Berksweet, he bought me like a dinosaur hat. And then my parents went to Thailand and they bought me my favorite silly hat that I've ever owned.
Oh my gosh.
So I've been wearing these for like all the Zoom conversations. Like it was my sister's birthday the other day. So we did like a Zoom birthday and I was like, what hat should we do? Oh, wait, no, sorry. I have one more.
Oh, well, because you can't go anywhere without some sort of reptilian covering.
It's a dinosaur. So when you were like, oh, come and do this conversation, I was like, I have nothing to offer, but I have a whole bunch of silly hats.
And you know what? Silly hats sometimes are really what we need.
It's true.
And I had seen somewhere on Facebook that somebody had put a sign out in front of their house saying that people were entering the ministry of silly walks. And I really, really want to do that. I really, really want to do that, but I worry that the people in Bellevue would not know.
No.
Which would be a shame. So
good.
I am going to let you go because I know that my next guest is signing in and I want to chat with him too.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, I miss you so much.
I miss you. It was so good to talk, actually, like not face to face, but face to face.
Kind of face to face enough. And hopefully our audience has got a little bit of a giggle out of the two of us just talking and being silly. Yeah. And seeing that actors are just like them. We're just people that miss seeing other people.
Yeah.
and performing for them and creating great theater. So I will be in touch with you about the cabarets.
Absolutely. Sign me up.
Because it was a ton of fun. All right. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye. So I am not going to sign off and go away. I'm just going to keep rolling because my next guest is here. And I adore this man. Some of you have seen him when he has come to Pittsburgh with the Golden Gaze NYC. But Anthony Giorgio-Schmidt is coming to us from New Jersey. And I think that a lot of people don't know about the other amazing work that you do, which is your podcast. Hey, friend.
What's up? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
You know, we're living the dream out here.
That's all we can do, really.
We are living the distanced dream of making sure that we take care of ourselves and others, and trying to stay healthy, all that kind of stuff. How is it up there in Neptune?
It's fine. My mother said they opened up the beaches, but I don't go. I haven't seen. She's like, Asbury Park's open, and I'm like, well, sort of open. I mean, you can walk.
Right.
Walk. Nobody's wearing masks. And some restaurants are open for takeout, but that's about it.
We have a lot of restaurants open for takeout. I do have to say that our governor's been pretty good about making sure that there are definite things in place. It's depressing to know that it's going to be at least another 11 weeks before performing arts can do things live.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
No, it sucks. Sucks. I mean, it's what we all do. So
yeah.
I mean, luckily for me, I get to still teach. Like, I'll teach today from 3 to 5:30, musical theater movement and a scene study class. So that's been nice, and I'm glad the place that I teach at the Algonquin Arts Theater. So I'm a teacher, a theater arts teacher, a choreographer, and I run a podcast. And occasionally I manage and I stage choreograph the Golden Gaze NYC or with them. So
so you're not busy at all, really?
I'm actually not busy. I mean, it sounds like I'm super busy. I am busy when life is happening, real life.
Yes.
I have my ups and downs. My mom always thinks that too. She's like, God, you just do so much. I go, it's like in bulk. Like I do it like, we had the cruise. So we went on a Golden Fans cruise with the Golden Gaze NYC, which was insane. But we were gone for 2.5 weeks with touring. With the tour, we stopped at a place first in Fort Lauderdale, and then we went on the ship. That was crazy how busy. I mean, that was the busiest. That was insane. There was over 1,500 Golden Girls fans on the boat, which was insane. Two sailings right before coronavirus kind of took over the world. And that was crazy. So yeah, like I do it like in bulk. Like there's times where I literally have no time to do nothing else other than what I'm doing, and then there's times where I'm like, well, get ready for the next thing because I don't need to be busy all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Which I need to be busy because otherwise I'd be just bored, and what's the point of doing anything? So the other part to me is the podcast for queer teens. I run a podcast called Queer Teen Podcast, QT, and encouraging the next generation of queer youth from across the world to stand up for what's right. And I sit down and I interview several teens from all over the world, and we just chat all things queer. This particular season was inside of pop culture. So we talked about the good and the bad and the lovely inside of queer pop culture and how queer representation has been lack thereof. And if it has been there, it's been on not the nice side. Like it's either been a killer or a crazy person in film. No one can kiss on screen, really. They didn't really allow much on television until really, I would say, I mean, they had lots of things, but they didn't really allow kissing until Will and Grace. And they allowed it on like HBO and Showtime with like Queer as Folk and stuff, but not on like regular TV like NBC, ABC. And that wasn't until when was Will and Grace, like 97, 98. So that wasn't until then. So it's insane. And just showing true love and just being. So I discussed these things with the kids this particular season, but I mean, I've met anyone from a 9-year-old trans activist who transitioned at 9 and is an activist in the trans community, who has a father who is a pastor at a Lutheran church, and it's unbelievable, and they're so accepting and so amazing, and her name's The Real Rebecca. She's kind of famous, and now she's a superhero, a Marvel superhero. They've actually given her own comic book. The first.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's like unbelievable stuff. So these kids, and then I meet kids that are. I'm at specifically an episode that comes out tomorrow. They graduated high school at 15, and they're extremely smart, and they're into music, and they created an organization called something about really love everything, just real love. And so yeah, it's just like I meet all these kids that are just like mind blowing, and I speak to adults as well. I speak to adults because I want kids to hear the influence, be influenced by people and inspired by people in the queer community. So it's been a ride, and so yeah, I'm almost to my 4,000th download, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
And I look at my statistics, and I don't really know what all of these mean, but it's made it to Australia and Africa and Israel and India. Well, I do work in India. I work with Prince Mavendra Singh Gohil of India. He's the first openly gay prince, and if anyone's watching, they'll find him all over Oprah. He's on Oprah and all these things in America. He came out in 2006, very late in life because he was part of a royal family, and they disowned him. They burned his effigies in the town square, which is insane.
Oh.
Sounds like it's something out of like the 1800s. But it's the truth because of the way India was and the way the Maharaj ruled, all the different families. So, but his father is completely accepting and amazing and beautiful, and he's the nicest people ever. So I go and do work over there for LGBT rights. In fact, I'm going to go back next year with the podcast and be there for another 2 weeks and tour with them and do 3 events and see India, because India is like my second home. I'm absolutely in love with that place. I can't describe it. It's not... Describing it doesn't do it justice.
I love watching the videos and the pictures that you send back from your trips, because it's unbelievable. You're not the only person I've heard say that about how it impacts them, how the country and the culture impacts them as a person.
It's so different there because here, here we have a melting pot, right? We have like tons of religions, a lot of different types of people from all over the world. But there, I mean, it's pretty much Indian and Muslim, and they do have other religions. There are a lot of Christians over there, Catholics, because they were ruled for 250 years by the monarch. And in 1947, they gained their independence. But that's still because they were ruled for so long under the white man's reign. And that church, it's interesting because it still affects them, and they still adhere to those systems. I mean, they recently only got rid of a law that criminalized homosexuality a couple years ago because the monarch put that into place because they wanted to control the way people live their lives. So they just recently got rid of that. So people don't quite understand. Everyone's like, well, it's 2020. I'm like, yeah, but like, people aren't even used to going to the mall there and going up an escalator. It sounds weird, but like they are afraid of them because they don't have those things there like we do. We're so westernized, obviously. But people don't get that. That's like I went to a Buddhist temple that's like 2,000 years old, and there's like these monarchs, these dynasties have been around for 10,000 years. Like the Prince's dynasty is like thousands of years old, and people don't quite understand that. And then when the monarch took it all away, and then they tried to keep it, and then it got destroyed in 1964 2005, they completely changed the way the system works, which is for the better in some sense, because the royal families weren't the nicest people, and they had slaves, and so they were a burden unto themselves as well. So but it's a messed up thing, but it's also a beautiful country because of the Buddhist religion, and Buddhist, Sikh, and they have like two other ones they really practice hardcore with it. But yeah, so that's what I do. I mean, I'm with the queer teens, and then I do lots of queer things in my life, and that's one of my biggest things I do.
I know that you were here in Pittsburgh at the beginning of February.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about because you were with a theater, you were invited up front by Dreams of Hope.
Yep.
Tell me how that went.
I mean, first, so here's the thing, like I always start because like the advantage of being in America is like, yes, there are still things that need to be changed. There needs to be trans laws. We need to have federal laws as queer people. Like everyone's like, we got married, but that doesn't federally protect us from other things. Like if I go to a different state, in certain states, I could just be fired for being gay and being married to Jason. So that's fucked up, really. I mean, So, but what Dreams of Hope is, it's we get the advantage of having an all queer theater, and they created this 17 years ago in Pittsburgh, and they put on an original work every year that the kids write, music, the lines, they do the whole thing, the whole production. It's all the queer kids, and it's either it's based inside of a queer topic, I believe, or not, and like it's mostly queer because like they talk about superheroes, and last year's clip that I watched was about like a drag queen superhero. So yeah, so that's what they do, and they have this group gets together once a week, and then they would have had their performance right now, last weekend would have been their performance, but I'm still going to work with them because my next season in the fall I'm going to take in queer artists, and they're going to sing, tell poetry, read something about a play they wrote, and that's going to be the episode. Each episode is going to be them performing their truth. So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I know that you have been the recipient of my calls several times, as I have done my best as a artistic director, a producer, in trying to make sure that I'm as open and just sensitive.
Yeah, I think the thing is, I think what people get confused with is that everyone thinks you have to have like textbook knowledge inside of the queer community, but the biggest knowledge that you should always just be aware of is the language more than anything. But like, I can assume and I've just the past like few years with my podcast and with the work that I do, I have also am learning to be respectful and just to listen, and the podcast has helped that, of course. So I think it's really just listening in the language, and like the impact of you calling just to make sure is the trickle effect is you'll never know. So like you'll never understand that because it's not designed that way. It's just designed for you to have the outlet for yourself to like call me or call somebody, get some information, and go from there. Yeah, I think people do it. And like you can totally go to school for all this and like learn it, but like for me, it's always been really hands-on, just in the work that I do. We're both in theater, and it's confusing because you think things are just okay, but with like the Me Too movements and basically theater being a predominantly like white environment and like white Jewish environment, and not so much a lot of people of color, and things that we've gotten used to and not really been paying attention to in our lives, just because it's part of like the way we talk, because language is so strong. I think that what you do, and just by calling me, is like what everybody should do, and like just check in with a person. Always check out for their pronouns, ask their pronouns. It's not a bad. I think people are confused by that. It's not bad to ask for pronouns. It's actually kind of respectful, and they might look at you like you're crazy, or they'll tell you pronouns.
Right.
And it's a beautiful thing, and that's pretty much it. I always have my teens and anyone that talks to me on my podcast always say their pronouns, so the listeners can know. And my biggest advice is just refer to them as nothing until you meet them and ask them. Like if you're not sure, and I'm still learning this. Like and it's my language is completely changing. Like I hardly refer to anybody as he or she unless otherwise noted prior to the conversation, and I just stick with their them, and then they can tell me whatever they want.
Which is great. It doesn't matter how we go through this life. What matters is that we keep changing and adapting and moving more towards that sort of understanding of each other.
Yeah, I mean that's all we can do. I mean, there's nothing else. You know what I mean? I think that's why travel is important. Like, someone tried to argue with me, like, "Oh, well, not everybody can travel." I go, "I'm not saying you need to be a jet setter and like get in a plane and go to India or like Turkey or wherever. At least go to the town next to you, or at least go to a function that you normally wouldn't go to in your town. If it's Black History Month, which is still absurd that it's a month only, but
Right.
if it's Black History Month, go to the thing during that month, sit down, listen to the people that are influencing your community inside of the Black community and people of color, and then you'll just know. It's not that hard, but unfortunately, we are not designed to take as many chances as we probably are offered, because people put up people say things to you that might scare you or whatever, and like everyone's backgrounds are totally different.
But that's such the amazing thing, and that's what I love about what you're doing with the podcast and doing with the teens, and the fact that you have such a strong theater background, and so many people don't. I mean, those of us that are in theater, we kind of take all of this sort of for granted to a certain extent, that every script we get is a new learning experience, and it's a new chance to delve into someone else's experience. And I think a lot of audiences miss that point, that when they're coming to a theater, that it's good if they think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no matter what theater you do. I mean, your theater is, specifically, obviously, children's theater, youth theater, but that doesn't matter, because those are the hardest lessons are in children's theater. I know people might think I'm crazy saying that, but they really are. It's one thing to take like, let's say, I don't know. It's one thing to take like, give me like a really hardcore play, like Othello, right? Or it's one thing to take like a hardcore piece that's written in such a dense, thick way. Anything Chekhov, right? Everything is like serious. But if you literally just push that aside and take a piece like if you give a mouse a cookie, or if you
Wanda's Monster.
Yeah, or you're like, what's the show that you do with the building you did it, you always do it. It's the same show you do every year.
Home.
Oh, right. You know what I mean? Like, the most simplistic idea of something shows such a big, strong message. So I think that's why I've always been attracted to like children's theater in general and like kids, because like there's no build inside of a child, because they're still building, right? There's nothing in the way of them, and I've always been fascinated with that structure. I've always been a kid at heart. We all are, because we like to play in the theater. It's really, really fun. And yeah, we do take it for granted, but I think like it's also your responsibility to be like, wow, this is my job. Like, I do this, I get to create, I get to like, and no matter what you do in theater, you're the one that has to start it. Like, that's the thing I think people often forget. It's like, not that you don't work your ass off as a lawyer or financial person, but like once you're inside, it takes you to get there. But once you're inside, if you're doing the work, obviously people will notice that. But in theater, oftentimes you can do as much work as you want, but it's not necessarily going to be you're not going to get a raise for that, or you're not going to get someone's going to sit you down and have like a one-on-one and be like, oh my God, you're just let me tell you, let me give you a report. And I think that's kind of cool too, because it makes us work harder. And it makes, like, that's how I started the podcast. Like, I knew no one was going to, like, I know people are going to be affected, but I'm not in it to be like, I know no one's going to sit me down and give me a raise.
Right.
You know, and like, I'm only working to what I think I need to work towards. And I think that's a really valuable lesson. I think we lose that in a lot of work things and jobs, and like, because we can get so complacent inside of what we do. But in theater, you don't. I mean, you really, which is the beauty and stress about it. Is like, it's so beautiful, because why would you want to be bored? Like, I could never do the sit down at my desk facing out an office window, you know, anything like that.
I would get, I have done them as temp jobs, and I get so
I too. Like, well, yeah. And I hate them. I hate them.
I have not enjoyed any of them except for one, and that's the one I just got laid off from. But that was because
thing, yeah.
But that's because I was surrounded by, even though we were all remote, I was surrounded by theater people.
Exactly.
Like, all of them were involved in the arts. So it felt like I was working in a theater, even though I wasn't working in a theater.
Exactly. Something that keeps going, like,
mm-hmm.
you know, which is pretty spectacular in that regard. And that's the thing with the podcast. It's like, I also don't, I have art with theater. I'm lucky with theater because, like, oftentimes you only have to answer to the people they have to answer to at the time. And you're not even answering to them. You're just doing your job and performing and having fun. And if it doesn't look right, they'll fix it. But other than that, it's a freeing art form. You know, it's freeing because you get to really be creative, and like, you're going to do it your way, because you're going to be directed and you're going to have freedom to do things, and be told where to go on stage, and like, how do you get to that point, and like, you're going to collaborate. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to really conquer the task at hand. Whereas I personally can't have someone like micromanaging me, third party. Like, I don't function that way. I've tried, but I don't particularly like it. So I'm too much of a control freak, and I'm okay with that. I don't think it's a bad thing, because if we didn't have some semblance of that, right, you wouldn't have been able to start a theater company. There's no way. Like, you know, you wouldn't have been able to, because you wouldn't have wanted to, because you want someone else. You want to answer to somebody else, whereas you would just answer to yourself. You just answer to yourself. Which
is good and bad.
Right, exactly. Because at the same time, you can't go to your boss and be like, oh my God, listen. You have to go to yourself and be like, all right, let me look within, or call your friend. And be like, which is why I love the podcast too. It's like, I'm taking it to the next, so I can, because I only have like 15 minutes left. So the next level for me is my, if you go to patreon.com/QueerTeen podcast, you can become a patron of my podcast. Patreon is like one of the best things invented.
Yes.
You become a subscriber, even if it's for $5. And it really does help. Like, I have 5 patrons. I didn't really push it, but I have 5 patrons. I'm about to do a big push. Everyone's going to get a special surprise in the mail. About 92 of you. Very specific people in my life, so it'll be interesting. But it's been, you know, I don't make money on it. I have money in the account, but I'm not making money on it. But thank God I have like Jason and the support that way financially to like carry it on and do what I need to do. I self-produce. I don't particularly like producing, but I do it anyways. And the goal is to get more people to become my patrons, so therefore I can pay someone to produce and do my social media for me. Just to take it to the next level, and to really, I need to really get in front of people more. Been blessed to have spoke at several conferences. Never told you, I never got that speaking engagement. They gave it to somebody else.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I'm not trans, so.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, so they wanted someone specifically in that category to talk about that, and which is totally cool. The girl really the person on the other phone, I don't know who they were. They really wanted me, and found my podcast online. But I don't, and I respect that. She goes, we're going to have you, don't worry. I go, listen, I'm not worried.
You're not going anywhere.
No, I'm not going anywhere. That the podcast, I can do this forever. It takes so much planning. I've seen lots of people starting podcasts during during the pandemic, and I think it's interesting because they're like, I have time. I go, what they don't realize is when they do pick up their schedules again. I'm just telling you, everybody, it's not that you can't do it. It's just like podcasts are a lot of work. You have to be able to produce at least one episode a week in order for any traction. And that's what I do. I run 11-week seasons. So that's 11 episodes that I have to have pre-recorded months in advance. I mean, I have episodes from last year that I just released not too long ago because it's just, I have to keep it going. And then I do episodes in the summer, and then I'll hit up my season in the fall. So it's a gratifying work, and it's pretty cool when people listen to it, and I get this feedback, and I hear kids are like, oh my God, I totally started listening to it. You're so fantastic. I talked to somebody on Instagram, and I don't know who this person was, but he's like, oh my God, I listened to your podcast in my car, and we were just like talking, and it was like, it's just really nice to know that people are listening and hearing these kids speak they're just unbelievable.
I've tuned into a couple of episodes. I don't always have time. I say that like, what else am I doing?
No, but they're best in the car. They're actually best in the car.
But it is so weird that we have all this time right now, and yet there's no time.
Well, because we're built for structure in this world, right? And all we rely on is structure. Because if we don't have structure, we're not anything, and which is bullshit. And so when you take that away, which literally it was stripped away from everybody, and they had to start to reconfigure. The whole world as a whole had to start to reconfigure. What I will say, like I normally do, and I think you do this too. It's like something always changes within what we're doing and going to the theater world. So you're always doing that anyways. So for me, that wasn't even it, because I was like, okay, I just can't go to the theater, which is sad because I love going to the theater and I love being in the workroom and I love being in the rehearsal space and stuff. So like that part kind of sucks. But the taking the structure away didn't really do anything different for me, other than like we are literally lost all of our tour dates. Or they're coming back. We're gonna still do them, but like, when we sit down on a Monday and do that whole live thing, that's the process of that starts at 4:00 when Jason starts and doesn't stop till 10:00, because that's the process of doing these live events. It's just a different way of doing it. It's the same if you went and did a live show, but we're just doing it from our home. And I don't think the majority of folks are not designed that way. Going back, you're in your office, you expect to show up at this time. You expect to do the work by this time. You have to hand it to your boss on the desk at this time, which you probably still have to do that, but everything had to be everything had to be shifted. I
think people are going to be in for a very big surprise going back.
Yeah. Oh, not going back. I mean, like Jason, I don't believe is going back. I think I built him an office. This is an office right now. We're in that room
on your front porch.
Yeah, there's no more big puffy thing. We gave that to my friend. We have the one chair left, and this is the desk that this is all on. And I just built him an office, and then part 2 is building a mini office in the other room, because we're not doing Airbnbs right now, and having separate spaces because we need that. So and it works out fine for him. Like, he can sit here and literally work the entire day, if need be. Right now he's watching. You know what I mean? Like, because he can get back to it. He can work till 7:00. It doesn't really matter. And he saves 4 hours of travel time. That's the other thing.
Fantastic.
Right? It's like, that's what a lot of people are saying. They're like, oh my God, I saved 4 hours of travel. And I was like, yeah, because to go make our money, and like where we have to get to and how we have to do it. But that's, I think we haven't even gotten to the point yet of like, really, like, that this is the reality even for longer than we realize. Because some people, like some countries will not open back up. They just won't. And a lot of people deal with countries, and a lot of people deal with their work, and they have to deal with different things, and everyone's working at home. So it'll be interesting. And when it does open up, people are going to be scared. And like, They're still going to wear their masks. They're not going to be sure. They don't want to go near anybody. This is
that's me.
Well, that's it. Like, that's me too. Like, we barely go out. Like, I go for drives just to get out and go around and just drive. I go to the supermarket if I have to, but most of it's online. I can order. I mean, you can order. You can do your mail online. You can do everything online. You literally do not have to go anywhere. I do want to go everywhere, but you don't have to. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, I know that you have to teach a class, so I am going to let you go. I have loved talking to you.
Well, everybody, if that sees this, go follow the podcast on Facebook or Instagram, or on it's just Queer Teen Podcast on both of those. And then you can also, if you go to podbean.com/Queer Teen Podcast, that's my website and for it basically, and you can see it there. Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Music.
Yay! And the stuff that you're doing is so important. And I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Because I think it is the next section of our young people that are being lost, and they need to be heard.
They need to be heard. They need to be seen. They need some place to just dump it, and that's what it is. Like, they have to get it somewhere, and just listen to it. You guys will be amazed. I'm telling you, these kids are so cool.
Well, most kids are pretty cool. I am happy to say.
All assholes though, but yeah.
Well, yeah, but
yeah, most of them are really. I mean, especially the theater geeks, man. They're just. Yeah.
They're the best.
They are.
We're a little partial, but yeah.
But I mean, we go up faster just because we're putting shows with adults, and that's what we do. And like, we're like, well, I want to fit in with all the adults.
Mm-hmm.
We go up faster. That's just part of it. You got to know things quicker and you have to be relied on so much sooner in theater and any performing arts, right? You have to be relied on that you're going to know what you're doing on that stage for 2.5 hours. And that's what, I think that's the mindset, you know, like, I think that's the thing you start to build the discipline inside of, like, you're relied on. And if you don't do it, you can't do it. And there's no in between. You can't do it. You don't get that step. You don't know it. You can't do it because it's dangerous, and I don't want someone to get hurt. So, and we go up faster because of that. We just do. I just think we do.
I would have to agree with that. We're forced to take more responsibility for what it is that we do, and how our actions affect others. Which I think a lot of, I don't want to generalize, but I do think that there are a lot of kids who are not always aware of how some things that they say and things that they do are affecting other people. They're still like this.
Oh, no. I mean, they don't teach empathy. There's no classes on empathy, unfortunately. And so even by saying, if I was a 10-year or 11-year-old, even by being in a group of kids and one kid says, oh my God, that person's so ugly, and we all just agree with that person, that's the effect that, and we've all been there. Like, I mean, listen, that's just because we're kids, and kids also start to put up a guard in the fight mode, you know, and like, it doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter if you don't even get bullied. You're always at least being like, well, you can't say that, or if you're going to say that, I'm going to say that. Like, it's a natural instinct that we're just built in with the already. So hopefully you don't have to go through like anything, but you do, and like, you have your moments, and you know, we become better for that, but also it sucks at the time.
Yes.
It sucks.
Yes.
But thank you for having me, and I'm gonna go teach some children now.
Go teach the children.
We're doing Shrek the musical today.
Oh, how much fun is that?
It's really fun. I want to choreograph that show so bad. I forgot how great I love that show. It's a great, great show.
Well, Kelsey Marshall, who was on earlier today at 12:30, she's a senior in high school, and they were able to get one weekend of their show done, and she was Fiona.
Oh, cool.
So, and I got to see it, and it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun, very silly, very silly.
Doesn't take itself serious, but it's really good and really fun. Do they do the whole version or just the junior version? No,
they did. It's a high school. They must have had, I swear they had 85 kids on that stage.
Oh my God. I've been
unbelievable.
there. Oh, stressful. It's so hard to make it work. It's like
Yes.
the hardest thing to do. That's the thing. If anyone wants to challenge themselves in any way, I'm not talking about getting a role in a show. You really want to challenge yourself? Get 85 kids in a show in a high school. I would say 95% of them can't dance, and make it work.
Yep.
And with kids being absent and not being there, and like all those schedules that happen with stupid sports. No, just kidding, kind of. And it's the hardest thing you could do. I mean, I did 16 Hairspray, and I think 5 of them could dance. So
yeah, that's tough to do that.
It's a good challenge, though.
Yes.
So challenge yourself.
All right, I'm going to let you go teach. My next guest is going to be Val Williams.
Oh, hey, Val.
I will tell her that you said hi. She'll be signing in soon. And we're going to have a lovely chat. And I love you and I miss you.
Thanks for doing this. And everybody that's watching this, give money to the Mariposa Theater. I know she's giving back this way, which is so lovely, but give her money. Thanks.
Bye. Tell Jason I said hi. Give him a hug for me.
I will. Bye.
So I'm going to take a little break, and I'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes with Miss Val with the songs for young whippersnappers. Oh, wow. I really need a break. Okay. I will see you all in a few minutes.